More of your phone calls coming up. Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer, and he was on the call for the Martin Luther King Day matchup at the Garden, won by the Mavs over the Knicks. Man, what's going on with the Knicks? Reggie's back at the desk on Coast to Coast. That'll be at 8 Eastern. Also, the NBA All-Star, let's see, you got Giannis visiting Tyrese Maxey and the 76ers. Although you can put Joel Embiid in there. He's starting to play a little bit better basketball, right?
I absolutely agree. But before we get to that,
okay,
Dr. Theodore, since you're being a therapist,
okay,
I kind of want to talk about the moment Seton brought up, because trust me, I have a million of them, but things that stick with me. And I just want to talk about this. And while I'm talking about this, Paulie can probably pull this up. 1994. We're in the conference finals versus the Knicks. This is coming off game 5, the 25-point quarter. My beloved Pacers go up 3-2, coming home to Indiana to close out the series. It could be a trip to the NBA Finals, our first. You would think home court advantage. I felt that we had broken the will of the Knicks. The start of that game, the Knicks get off to a great start. I mean, they're up by as many as 15, 20 points on us. We scratch, we claw our way back in. We have a big third and fourth quarter. We crawl all the way back into this ball game, being down double digits. I get fouled. We're down 2. I'm going to the free throw line in our building. And you know this, Theodore, being a shooter, scorer, it's sometimes just breaking the will of your opponent, because you can tell. You can look in your opponent's eyes and you know when they're about ready to crack. I feel if I make both of these free throws and we go up 1 with about 2-3 minutes left, I will have broken them. This is it, because they were ready to fold anyways, but they had played great all the way up to this point. I go 1 for 2, and it's a tie ball game. And Dan, you know this. There's a difference between being tied and being up, because all they did was exhale. They didn't get the lead, and they went on to beat us in game 6, and we lost game 7. So to answer, it's that moment that keeps me up, because I should not miss free throws, especially in a moment like that, because they were ready to fold like a chair. I had them on the precipice of being broken, and I let them off the hook. So if there's something that haunts me, a moment, it's that damn free throw. That's why it just kills me, because it kills me. One of the best free throw shooters ever in the NBA, I miss a free throw in that moment. It kills me. It really kills me, because they were ready to be broken. Okay, what do you want to know about the NBA?
What about the Knicks now? Like, they're talking about trading Karl Anthony Towns. I thought that Mike Brown, and we got to get rid of Tibbs, and this is a team that can go to the NBA Finals. What's wrong with them?
And they still can go to the NBA Finals. But let's be real. The Karl Anthony Towns trade demands, or everyone talking about it, that's nothing new. They were talking about doing that last year, even before they made the coaching change. Look, something just isn't clicking chemistry-wise in that locker room. And having a chance to cover a few of their games this year, and I'm surprised, because Karl Anthony Towns last year under Thibs averaged 24 points, 13 rebounds, all-star, all-NBA performer. This year, numbers considerably down. Still good, 20 points, 11 rebounds, but his shooting is atrocious. Now, I know it's a new offense. There's more pace and space, and there's more flow, but he just doesn't look comfortable under Mike Brown's system. And don't get me started on the defense, which was fantastic under Coach Thibs. As we know, he's a defensive-minded coach. Their defense is atrocious. So chemistry, balance. Look, Mike Brown says it was going to be a while. Look, they won the cup a month ago, and everyone was patting them on the back, and they've gone, I believe, 7-11 since then, and they just have not played great basketball on either end.
We were talking earlier about Jimmy Butler's injury and what this means for Golden State because they're not going to be challenging for a championship here unless if you trade Jonathan Kuminga and you bring in, I don't know, Klay Thompson or DeMar DeRozan or I don't know. But you got Steph at 37. And, that window is really closing here, Reg.
Halfway closed. And especially now with the injury to Butler, almost closed, unless something drastically happens. Look, Mike Dunleavy Jr., the general manager, has gone on record and say we cannot continue to waste these prime golden years of Stephen Curry and Draymond Green to a certain degree. I mean, he's 35. So I wouldn't be surprised if they made a subtle move. I like the DeMar DeRozan. I know, again, another older player, but a proven player and a proven scorer. But what do you give up? I know Sacramento all along has wanted Jonathan Kuminga. And now this is going to be an interesting dynamic because now if you're Steve Kerr and that coaching staff and you look down the end of the bench and you see Kuminga after the injury to Jimmy Butler and you're asking him, oh, now can you come play for us when you haven't played me at all? I'm not going for that if I'm Kuminga. Something has to happen. Or if I'm Stephen Curry, maybe I open up my Rolodex.
Wow.
And maybe it's time that I call someone in the Midwest by the name of Giannis Antetokounmpo and say, look, what you've done in Milwaukee has been fabulous. It's been great. You brought them a championship, their first in 50 years. But the time is now. You're getting older. I'm certainly knocking on Father Time's door.
Wait a minute, but how do you pull that off, Reg?
I don't know how you do it. You give up everyone but Stephen Curry and hopefully not Draymond Green. But everyone else on the roster is.
I'll give you Draymond Green. I don't need. If I get Giannis, I'll take my chances. I don't want to. I'd hate for that to hold up the trade if you were going to get Giannis.
If they can get Giannis by any means necessary, that is something Mike Dunleavy is going to have to certainly think about. But Giannis has to be open to that as well because the Bucks aren't going anywhere either, right? They're kind of stuck in mud too. So I think he doesn't owe them any favors. He's done his job.
Okay, but who's most likely to trade for Giannis?
I would say New York. I think New York probably has more assets. You could throw in Mikal Bridges, maybe OG, Josh Hart, some picks. Carl. I don't know if I want Karl Anthony Towns if I'm Milwaukee.
No.
You got Miles Turner there. That's almost the same. I don't know if I want both of those guys there. So the Karl Anthony Towns is not that attractive in Milwaukee. But I think the pairing of Giannis and Steph, that's fascinating. That's pretty fascinating.
Could you see would Steph ever ask to be traded?
No.
Okay.
I think he's in the same boat as Giannis. They will never publicly ask for a trade.
Well, it feels like Milwaukee would trade Giannis. I don't think Golden State would trade Steph unless Steph said, let me help you get younger. Let me go see if I can win another championship.
I think if he went to ownership group and said something like that behind closed doors, I think they would do everything possible to trade him because right now his value is high too. You know a pairing where I would absolutely love to see Steph go? What if Steph teamed up and they have assets? What if he teamed up with Wemby in San Antonio? If you could keep Wemby and maybe Castle, but everyone else is in play and have Steph. If you had those three guys, Dylan Harper, great young player, ship him off. Luke Cornett, champion in Boston, another big guy, ship him off. Harrison Barnes, who won a championship with the Warriors, ship him off. Keldon Johnson, great. De'Aaron Fox, got to go.
Okay. If San Antonio added Steph Curry, who's the team to beat in the NBA?
And is Castle,
You can keep Castle. You got Castle and Wemby. You lose Fox. You're going to lose Harper, Cornette, and probably some draft picks.
They're currently where they are right now. I was still.
They're second in the West, right?
They're second, right?
Yeah.
So they would still be the second best team. I would, because of experience. Obviously, I'm going to lean towards the champs. But we've seen on a small sample scale, they're 3-1 versus OKC this year.
Yeah.
But that would be fascinating because you have a proven winner, score, someone who can space the floor. And, I was watching that game last night between the Spurs and the Rockets. And I, for the life of me, I just don't know why they wouldn't run pick and roll with De'Aaron Fox and Wemby almost every single play. Yeah. How are you going to guard that? They rarely run that, or even with Stephon Castle. Why wouldn't they run that almost exclusively? How would you guard that? Either throw it to the rim, pick and pop, pick and roll. If they go under, if that's Stephen Curry and they go under, boom, baby. There's so many things you could do with a De'Aaron Fox and Wemby pick and roll. Fox is just too good. And to me, they're not using them as most as they should. It's a shame because offensively they can be really good.
Talking to Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer, and Coast to Coast, NBC and Peacock, starting at 8 Eastern. Somebody is going to get traded, it feels like, this trade deadline, right? Big name?
Look, I think I've read everything, too. You probably heard this, that John Morant has pulled back his demands of being traded.
Zion?
That'd be look, that's an interesting thing. Maybe it's time for a change of pace and scenery for him as well. But I think Joe Dumars kind of wants to see what he has with this young core. What's the sample size on Zion? I mean, how many games has he played? Has he been?
He's played 29 games this year. But I don't want Zion or John Morant. I don't want LaMelo Ball either.
I think a change of pace for all three of those guys might be in order. I know they're all injury prone, and I know they need the basketball to be successful, but also they can be a difference maker on a winning team, on a winning culture. Maybe. I don't know.
You got to see Cooper Flagg in person.
He's the real deal. Because I wanted to see how he really seen it on TV versus seeing how someone's change of pace, how they warm up, how they approach the game. When you see it in person and up close for a 19-year-old, and I give a lot of credit to whoever developed this young man in terms of his fundamentals and footwork. And Coach Jason Kidd and his staff has done a fabulous job of allowing him, and listen to me carefully when I say this, allowing him to fail, okay? Because the project they did of putting him at point guard was brilliant, because at some point in time, if you can have 2 or 3 playmakers on the floor, and I think I brought this up on air, Coach K called Coach Kidd and said, you know what, we never thought about doing that. We just thought he was going to be a forward and we would throw the ball to him. It's like, this is fascinating. And yeah, he did. It wasn't great, but he passed a lot of tests, and it's only going to make him better. So by failing, to me, the Mavericks got better because he developed his game. This young man is going to be the face of our game in another 3 to 5 years because he has all the tools to be great.
He won't be the face because of Wemby, though. And Wemby's only 2 years older than him, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, Wemby's going to, it's not often when you say somebody changes the game, but somebody who is that skilled inside, outside, offensively, defensively, I just think that the league is his for the next decade.
And if that's the case, then he's going to have to play more than 28 minutes a game. I need more Wemby. I need a guy that.
Yeah.
I need a guy that's going to give me 32 to 38 and play 60 to 72 games.
Your UCLA Bruins beat Purdue, and these students stormed the floor, Reggie. This is UCLA. What happened to the Bruins? They stormed the floor at home.
I know. We got caught up in the Big Ten moment, beating a ranked team, Purdue's number 4. I know.
You're UCLA.
I know, Theodore. You don't have to bring it up. I saw it too.
Dang.
I know.
These kids have no sense of history.
We got caught up in the moment.
Why don't they just offer a course in the history of UCLA basketball? Just so they know we don't storm the court.
I hope Coach Conan went in there and said, "What? Did y'all get caught up in this? What is wrong with y'all? Do you know who we are? Who we is?"
Are you still a Raider fan?
Mendoza, baby, yes.
You
know my pecking order: Raiders, Colts, and because of my son, Chiefs. But Raiders, die hard. Raiders, yes. And you saw who was scouting at the championship game. Thomas, the greatest of all time, Brady. He knows. And can I just say one thing? Was that the greatest scramble for a touchdown by a quarterback, 4th and 5? I wish I had my belt for Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin, you know I don't have a belt on. You were whipping all those other opponents. Mendoza just took off it. I was screaming. Oh my God.
Michael Irvin scares me though. Like I get nervous for Michael Irvin when he gets excited like that.
I love Mike.
He was more excited than anybody on Miami's team when they had those
good
wins.
For him. It's good to have a cheerleader like Michael Irvin.
But you don't do that at a UCLA basketball game.
I mean, I cheer, I clap.
No,
I cheer, I clap. I do. Look, former players, we get animated. I'm sorry when it comes to our alma maters.
Good to talk to you. Now you got your
UCLA. Excuse me, Dr. Theodore. Thank you for allowing me to vent.
And you missed a
free throw, Reg. Make a free throw.
You're a 90% free throw shooter.
And you make those, you go up 1, and for people to say there was a lot of game left, no, they were ready. We go up 1.
Did you choke?
I choked.
Yeah.
I choked. A trip to the finals because again, you do have another chance going to New York, but you're not going to win that game on the road going in Game 7.
Yep.
Back in those days, not in the mid 90s. You had to close them out at home. I didn't. I apologize, Pacer fans. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I let them off the hook. That was my bad.
Why don't you blame, your teammates?
Can't blame. It'll never be my teammates. When you're the man, it falls right here.
Do you have Reggie's stats in that game, Paulie?
Yeah, he had 27 in that game. In the last 4 games of that series, he was the leading scorer for both teams, 31, 39, 27, 25.
Yeah, but he should have had 28 points in that game.
No, Dan.
So that's my moment, Seton. Everyone has a moment, and trust me, I've had many of them, but that one just burns me because it's the first. That would have been my first trip to the NBA Finals, and
you would have faced San Antonio.
What's that?
You would have faced San Antonio,
Houston. Houston. My man, Mad Max and I going head to head.
Oh my God.
Mad Max, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Rick Smith. Ooh.
But we wouldn't have had the John Starks moment.
I wouldn't have went 1 for 27. I guarantee you that in the final. I love me some John, but you know what? A lot of that is on Pat Riley. You did have Hubert Davis over there, someone who could have came in.
Oh, so you're blaming Riles for that?
It's called coaching for a reason.
Thank you, Reg.
I appreciate you, Theodore. I appreciate you, Theodore.
Yep.
Dan Ed.
Figure we get some positive numbers in there for Reg.